8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, everybody. I wanted to give it some time for everyone to kind of sit back and tune into the show. The rest of it, I actually didn't watch the end of it, so if Colorado State came on, feel free to let me know about that one. But honestly, what a draw for Utah State. Incredible respect, I have to say, for the Aggies going into this one. I wasn't entirely too sure what to make of where we were going to, especially after the New Mexico seeding. Once I saw that New Mexico got a 10 seed, I did think that could have threw us through a loop of where we could have been. I think that we could have landed anywhere from 10 all the way to 12 there. But the fact that we did end up with a 10 just shows massive respect for Utah State. So yeah, insane kudos to the committee putting us where they did. And I'm incredibly just really proud of this team and this organization. So I'm going to share some things on Twitter. So if you want to listen here on Twitter, you can. You can also listen to us on YouTube. I'm going to share out those links as well. Comments will be read from both locations. But yeah, if any of you want to hop on and chat, feel free to request it and I'll bring you on. But yeah, 10 seed against UCLA is a massive win in my opinion for the Aggies. I couldn't ask for a better matchup really. Let's see. I'm going to send this out and then I'll be a little bit more focused. But incredible stuff right now. Cool. So Utah State getting a 10 seed against the UCLA Bruins, a massive opportunity for Utah State to kind of go in and get a decent outcome in this. I think this is a great opportunity for Utah State. I don't think UCLA is all that dominant. And I think that we can go to Kentucky and come out with this one. Incredible respect for the Aggies again. Talking about, I know a lot of us kind of sat there really worried about where we would land in all this. I had no fear that we were going to be in the NCAA tournament. My fear was where we were going to land. I would say I had like a 5% nervousness of being a play-in team, I think, but I was as confident as you can be about that we were going to make it into the actual tournament, and we did again. And 6 tournaments in the last 7 years, incredible stuff for the Aggies. Obviously, it's not 6 because the COVID year didn't count, but we did win the Mountain West Conference that tournament that year, so we would have been dancing if that tournament would have actually taken place. But incredible stuff for the Aggies, and I'm just ecstatic, and I think that a lot of us understand that we can't take advantage of these scenarios, right? Because there was a period from 2013 to 2018 where we just weren't competing, and in that conversation, and then ever since 2018, 7 years, a 7-year run like none other, and just incredible stuff for the Aggies. So, yeah. I'm gonna keep talking, but if anyone wants to hop on, give their thoughts on this whole situation, I'd love to have you on. Again, we're live on YouTube and on Twitter, so if you want to kind of hop on and have your voice heard, feel free to do so. But if you also want to just hop over to the YouTube channel and hear through that way, you can, and just chat through the text there as well. So feel free to request on if you're wanting to chat. And I'd love to have anyone on from, even if it's San Diego State, and on cue, Aztec Analytics hops on. I'd love to hear where they think what kind of the San Diego side of this is
as well. So I'm gonna pass it off to you, Aztec Analytics, and hear what you have to say. What's up, man?
NCAA tournament.
How's it going, Brady? Congratulations
where
to you
we
guys.
were going to land. The only
in terms of where we are, I'm not surprised at all. I wasn't very
nervous.
I like thinking logically over emotionally when it comes to stuff like this.
I was as confident as you can be about that we were going to make it into
when we lost to Boise State after
tournament.
scoring 52 points the entire game. There's a lot of people throughout the fan base who thought it was a done deal that we weren't going to get in. But that's just emotional.
But we did win the Mountain West
That's just emotions, speaking
year, so
right after the loss.
If that tournament would have actually taken place.
Very surprised who we play, though. North Carolina.
Incredible stuff.
That is just. That is just not. I mean, I don't know what to say about that, other than the fact that it helps to have your athletic director be the chairperson of the NCAA tournament. I'm not. I don't have any disdain for Boise. I'm not happy or I'm not sad that they're not in, but North Carolina was 1-11 versus teams in the field, and they got in over Boise State last second. But as for us, I think this is exactly where we belong. I'm surprised that New Mexico didn't get a 9.
There was a period from
you put in a
2013
Oklahoma
to
power
2018
conference
where we
team
just
over
weren't
them, and
competing,
that pushes everybody down.
in that conversation.
4 bids for the Mountain West again. So how cool is that?
7 years.
Yeah, and I didn't see the ending, so I guess I'm going to guess that Boise State didn't get that bid. Which is crazy to think about. Just I mean, to go on that run after they beat you guys and then beat New Mexico, I bet you most of them thought, okay, we're in, and to kind of sit back on a Sunday. And I guess that's just kind of like the nature of the beast and the importance of the non-conference season every year, because that I honestly think that loss to Boston College is coming back to really bite the Broncos in the butt there, and kind of to the credit of San Diego State and Utah State and even New Mexico with the solid non-conference that they had. Well, not even New Mexico. New Mexico got in because of the conference championship. So, but like when it comes to good regular season or non-conference season, San Diego State and Boise and Utah State really kind of went through that without any blemishes. And that kind of carried us into the conference season, so we could go through that conference. And as long as we didn't lose to, San Jose or, a UNLV at home or something like that, because I know Utah State did lose to UNLV, but not getting a quad 3 or quad 4 loss all season long is just a really kind of benefit that I think that really kept Utah State afloat, and especially San Diego State with the win over Houston. So as well. So I'm gonna pass it off to you. I'm happy where we ended up. I love that it's against UCLA. What's up, man? The fact that we can get some Pac-12 revenge would be kind of fun. I know that we're not in it yet, but like the optics of it is funny. So we do have a new speaker on. Aggie Up's hopped on. Let's pass it off to you, Aggie Up. What's up, dude? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think the draw with UCLA is a good draw. Kansas would have kind of been an interesting one too. So that 7-10 matchup, I'm not mad about that. The Aggies team definitely needs to
in terms of where we are, not surprised at all. I wasn't very
get ready to.
I like thinking logically over emotionally.
I don't think the finish lost to Colorado State
when we lost to Boise State after scoring 52 points the entire game.
Those teams were playing really well, and
throughout the fan base who thought
we're hungry to try to get to the tournament.
That's just emotional,
as we saw today.
That's just
Colorado State would have been left out.
Speaking
Boise State obviously
right after the loss.
If that would have,
not a lot of respect.
Very surprised who we play though. North Carolina.
That is just.
But New Mexico hasn't had a ton of respect getting a 10 seed, and not getting votes in the top 25. Even when they at one point probably definitely deserved to be in the top 25, I would say. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. So now the most important thing is the Mountain West needs to get some wins, and it's going to be tough. I mean, Colorado State got a really, really, really tough matchup with Memphis. None of the teams got an easy matchup by any means, so I guess we'll see how it kind of shakes out. I don't know if anybody else agrees. I think New Mexico can beat Marquette for sure, but that's definitely not an easy matchup. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, New Mexico's got a tough outing, and I put it out there on Twitter earlier. But really, no one's supposed to win these games. Like as a 10 seed or lower, like we're all supposed to go in and lose these games. But it is nice to actually have a chance to do it. I was quickly, while you were speaking, I was going through UCLA's schedule just for everyone so they could understand who we're playing. So we play New Mexico in November, and granted that November is so far way ago. If you looked at teams from November, Colorado State wouldn't be anywhere close to being a conference team or conference championship team. But for what it's worth, we play New Mexico did beat UCLA on a neutral court last second. Earlier this year, exactly so that kind of gives you some perspective of what this team is looking like. They finished around fifth place. Fifth place in the tied for fourth. I'm not entirely sure where they lined up within the Purdue-Wisconsin three-way tie, but they did tie for fourth in the Big Ten, and then they lost to it looks like they were the fourth seed in the Big Ten tournament. They did lose in the first round, Wisconsin,
which is crazy to think about. Just I mean,
I think to go on that run after they did have a 4-game losing streak in the early on in January.
Okay, we're in.
I'm optimistic to
Sunday, and I guess that's just kind of like
Utah State
the nature of the beast of
and everyone else.
The importance of the non-conference season every year.
That's not too surprising considering how they ended the season.
I honestly think that loss to Boston College,
and then I didn't see who Colorado State
really
ended up getting.
Broncos in the butt there.
Who they've gone up against?
Kind of to the credit of San Diego
Memphis.
State and Utah State and New Mexico with the solid non-conference that they had.
I don't think anyone's playing better than Colorado State right now, and I don't think Memphis is playing too
when it comes to good regular season,
they haven't really been
non-conference
tested
season. San Diego State and Utah State really kind of went through that without many blemishes. And that kind of carried us into the conference season, so we could go through that conference. And as long as we didn't lose to, San Jose or, UNLV at home or something like that, because I know Utah State did lose to UNLV, but not getting a quad 3 or quad 4 loss all season long is just a really kind of benefit that
I'm curious to see how this all turns out for all of our Aggies and especially the rest of the Mountain West Conference. This year's a weird year because before. I'm happy
where we ended up. I love that it's a game
go in and
what's up, man?
all these games so you could increase the pedigree of the conference. Right now it's just kind of like,
I know that
I don't have that same feeling this year around, because I know that we won't be here in 2026, so like earning more money for the conference really isn't really my interest right now. But it is interesting to kind of monitor these new Pac-12 teams and see how they do. I know they're not part of the conference yet, but Gonzaga getting that 8-9 is
so that 7-10
a tough draw, if I would say, for Memphis. I think that's a bad look or bad draw on their end for Houston. I meant to say to play a Gonzaga in that second round. I think that's going to be a tough one for them, but. Yeah, I really had no worries going into this one. I didn't think that we would be in any danger. But yeah, it's a great time. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention too. I mean,
where we are, not surprised at all. I wasn't very
get ready to.
I like thinking logically over emotionally.
I don't think that's pretty big win. Obviously, Gonzaga.
We lost to Boise State, NC State,
in conference. Both those teams were playing really well. They were okay. I mean, they didn't. We're hungry to try to get to the tournament.
That's just emotional.
Teams like that. Today,
Colorado State would have lost out. Speaking right after. loss.
It'll be not a lot of respect.
Very surprised to be played though.
North Carolina, coach team, so I don't
that
think
is
they're
just.
going to be. But
that is
New Mexico hasn't had a ton of
I don't know.
getting a 10 seed
this season. They were
and not
just
getting
complaining
votes
about
in
being
the
a
top
soft
25
team and complaining about the travel.
Even when they at one point,
I don't know. It'll
be
definitely deserve to be in the top
UCLA probably 25, I would say.
but
It'll be interesting to see which UCLA team comes out to play. So
I agree. Does anyone else want to hop on? Did anyone else think that we were going to get that BYU game in Denver? I was sitting there. I was like, it's 6. It's like if they want to make a lot of money or get a lot of clicks on that game, that 6-11 game, when BYU showed up there, I was like, okay, knowing where they put New Mexico, I thought that was almost a guarantee that we were going to end up in Denver playing BYU. But hey, they decided to not make that happen and make the entire state of Utah crack in half. But it would have been interesting if they would have had the guts to pull that. So, let's see if anyone else wants to hop on and get their thoughts. I told my wife I wouldn't be too long with this, but I just kind of want to get immediate reaction regarding this whole tournament. And I hope we play on, I don't necessarily care which day, but I always like early because it gives me a reason to not pay attention while I'm working. But
I think it's Thursday and most likely night.
Yeah, of course
they usually the 7-10 game is later. But
of course it is. Okay, we got our favorite Rebel. He hopped on. Jason, or is he a BYU fan this weekend? I'm not sure. But Jason, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I am a BYU fan because obviously the Rebels 12 years in a row. Was really sad watching another selection Sunday without being a part of it. Since last time I was taking the ACT the last day that we were in the selection committee, and I'm almost 30 now. So I think this is a pretty good matchup. I don't know that I think UCLA is probably going to be favored. I don't know if you guys talked about what you think the line's going to be. I'd say UCLA will probably have a 2 or 3 point betting favorite over Utah State. I think Utah State can absolutely win. The thing that worries me about the matchup for the Aggies is specifically just the size. Asdi Mara is really awesome, and Tyler Belodo is really great as well. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I didn't watch enough UCLA games outside of the New Mexico one, but like UCLA's got legitimate size like all over their roster, and really good big men. At least defensively, I don't think they're spectacular offensive players. UCLA probably underperformed their talent this year a little bit. And if you talk to Mick Cronin, I would assume that he would say that was because of travel. He said that over a 3-week or over a 2-week period, they saw the Statue of Liberty like 3 separate times when they were going to Rutgers, and he was complaining about that. So I think this UCLA team is really good. I think if you play the game 100 times, I would probably say that UCLA wins 65 to 70 of them. But that doesn't mean that that's how it's going to play out. If Utah State shoots well, I think they absolutely can do it. And in terms of like where the conference is, I do feel bad for Tyson Dagenhart. I don't feel bad for Leon Rice or the Boise fans, to be honest with you, but I do feel bad for Tyson Dagenhart. And this probably seemed about the number. It seems like if Colorado State wouldn't have won the tournament, with what they did with the SEC and the Big 12 only getting 7 teams in, I honestly think the committee probably would have only put 3 Mountain West teams in the NCAA tournament, which wouldn't have been right, which would not have been fair. I mean, Boise getting left out, they were a bubble team, and North Carolina and those schools getting in. But the last thing I'll say is about the conference specifically. I know it was kind of fun last year for everybody to be rooting for the Mountain West. And like I get that, that there is a separate conference that you guys are leaving, and obviously I wish we were going to. But like it's not like the Mountain West hasn't provided plentiful NCAA tournament access for the teams. Like no Mountain West team that is good has ever been screwed over by being a part of the Mountain West in any real and substantial way. And even I would include Boise. They lost to Boston College this year. They made their own mistakes. And while it was close, they were left out ultimately. I think probably that's just the kind of the way it is being in a mid-major in a mid-major conference, even though it's a higher major conference. And so like I would say I get